Hello, class. We are starting a new unit. We just finished accentuate the negative, and we're going to begin filling and wrapping. But before we begin this new unit, we want to review perimeter and area from your covering and surrounding unit that you did in 6th grade. So let's look first today at perimeter and circumference. Um, we have two shapes here. We are going to do the parallelogram as an example in your notes. And then in your notes, you're also going to do the perimeter for this triangle. Now, I do want to let you know ahead of time that we're also going to be finding the area of each one of these shapes tomorrow. So leave some room after we find the perimeter to find the area on another day. Don't just cram it all in there, or it'll get kind of messy. So just make it neat, make nice notes, and we'll go from there. So this first shape that we're looking at right here is a parallelogram because it has two sets of parallel lines. We're going to find the perimeter of this parallelogram. Just as a slight review, which you guys should all know, perimeter is the distance around the outside of this figure. So we're talking about this distance. So that means this height is not part of our perimeter because that's just finding the height of this figure. We're looking for the length of the sides. So to find the perimeter of this to find the perimeter of this parallelogram, we are going to simply add up the sides, all of the sides. So 5 plus 5 for this other side, plus 8 and 8 for the other side. Another way to look at that could be 2 times 5, because there's two sides that are 5 each, plus 2 times 8 for the two sides that are 8. Either way, you're going to come up with the same answer. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 2 times 8, which is 16. Find the sum of that, and you will find a perimeter of 26. So now pause the video. Make sure you've got all those notes taken down neatly, and do the perimeter for this triangle. All right, welcome back. We are going to now look at the trapezoid. We're also going to find the perimeter of the trapezoid. Really doesn't change that much from the triangle or the parallelogram. And in fact, it doesn't change at all. You're still just finding the distance around the outside of the trapezoid. So that height measurement is not needed to find the perimeter. So pause the video now, find the perimeter of this trapezoid. All right, now we're going to move on to the last figure that we're going to be finding perimeter. Since it's a circle, it has a special name for perimeter, which is circumference. So it's what we normally call it with the circles, circumference. But the definition is the same. It's still the distance around the outside of this figure, so we're looking for this distance. Now there is a formula, actually two formulas that you'll find on your formula sheet for circumference. 2 pi r or pi d. We're going to look at both of those right now. Before we even start looking at those, we're going to talk about the difference between radius and diameter. Radius, if you remember, is from the center of the circle to the outside edge. Diameter would be the entire distance across the circle. So really, you pick which formula you want to use based on what dimensions they give you. If they give you the radius, you can either double the radius to make diameter, or you can just use a formula that uses radius. We're going to use this formula first to find the circumference of this circle. Now we're going to just use our 2, put in our pi, which for now we're going to use the approximation of 3. And pi is really 3.14 and a lot of digits after that. So, but for now, for estimation purposes, we'll just use 3. And our radius is 5. And then we just simply multiply those together. 2 times 3 is 6, times 5 is 30. And if we remember, that's just an approximation, so it's not exactly 30. It's close to 30. Now let's do it using diameter. We would use pi again. We'll stick with 3 as our approximation for pi. Now this time for diameter, since we've got to count the entire distance across the circle, that would be 10. And then multiply those together. 3 times 10, 30. Again, it's just an approximation of the circumference. Make sure these notes are complete and ready to talk about when you show up to class on Wednesday. Thank you.